Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's Steuben here yet again with another Silver Tempest proxied up deck profile. I have been able to get my hands on some Silver Tempest stuff, as you might have seen in a few other videos and some shorts that I filmed. But I didn't quite hit anything for this deck that I said I would profile, and I'm still going to. But after some of the results from Japan over the last week, of them having access to their half set of our Silver Tempest that we're getting, very, very soon. I've adapted this list drastically based off of those Japanese results. But today we're going to take a look at Regieleki VMAX and Friends. Before we do get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon TCG content. The amount of support on some of these recent videos has been absolutely insanely awesome. So thank you all for all the love and comments and support. So let's just continue and, keep hammering it on out and knock it out of the park. So yeah, today we're going to take a look at Regieleki VMAX. It's got 310 HP, electric type or lightning type, whatever you want to call it. The ability Transistor. Your basic lightning Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. So you get a couple of these out, and your other Pokemon, not this thing, not this VMAX itself, other basic lightning types will do more damage. It's got an attack, though, for 1 lightning and 2 colorless, max thunder and lightning for 220, and it can attack the next turn. But it has no retreat cost, so that's pretty cool. Not too often we get a couple VMAXs that don't have a retreat cost. There's only a few that I can think of off the top of my head, like Mew and Corviknight. So pretty cool. So we're rocking 3 of these. We are playing 4 of the basic V, 200 HP. It has a retreat cost though, so just of 1. And then it's got Switch Bolt for lightning, 1 lightning, 30 damage, and switch this with one of your benched Pokemon, so a pivot. And then you have Lightning Wall for a lightning and 2 colorless to do 100 damage. And during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 100 less damage. Kind of interesting, kind of cool. But yeah, we're going to rock a 4-3 line of Regieleki. But the real star of the show, thanks to Transistor's damage bump, is Vikavolt V. So we'll take a look at Vikavolt. We are playing 3 copies of this, but Paralyzing Bolt for 50 for 1 lightning and a colorless. During your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand. Items comprise over 50% of most decks anymore, so it's kind of crazy to see just something like this powerful, and to be able to increase the damage up is absolutely insane. It also has another attack here for 2 lightning and a colorless, Super Zap Cannon for 190, discarding 2 energy from this Pokemon. Unfortunately, it does have a retreat cost of 3, but we make up with it definitely with Regieleki VMAX here. So yeah, the whole strategy is to get a couple Regieleki VMAX in play, and then Paralyzing Bolt for more damage than 50, and to be able to just item lock your opponent and potentially gatekeep them out of the game. So that's the main strategy. We do have other attackers in here. We're going to continue on with Raikou V. You've seen him on the channel before. Fleet-footed, the ability that it shares with Entei and Suicune V as well. If it's in the active spot, you get to draw a card once per turn. And then Lightning Rondo for 1 lightning and a colorless. It does 20 more damage for each benched Pokemon, yours and your opponent's. So if they fill up the bench and you fill up your bench, you're hitting for 220 without any modifiers. Regieleki can crank that up even higher. Next up is not a lightning type attacker, but a water type attacker. We are playing a copy of Starmie V in here. It's got Swift that goes through weakness, resistance, or effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. And then you've got Energy Spiral for 2 water to do 50 times the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. It also is weak to lightning, so it diversifies the fighting weakness here a little bit, and it has no retreat cost, another good free pivot to get onto. We are playing water energy, so we'll get to that in a minute here. Another attacker, we do have a copy of Drapion in here to hit things for dark weakness for every Pokemon that they have that's a Rapid Strike, Single Strike, or a Fusion Strike in play. The ability Wild Style will decrease that attack cost by 1 colorless. And so potentially you can get this super low in the right matchup, specifically Mew, where 190 times 2 is enough to KO. Alright, and then for support, we've got 1 copy of Lumineon for Luminous Sign to find your supporters when you bench it, and 1 copy of Crobat for Dark Asset to draw your hand up to 6. So that's it for the Pokemon line. Tons of Vs, a couple of VMAXs. Pretty cool, different toolboxy style effect. Let's move on to the supporters. We'll start off with the new one. We are playing 1 single copy of Serena. You get to choose one of the 2 effects here. We've covered Serena in the other deck so far on the channel. but for those that have missed it, you either choose one of the two. Discard up to 3 cards from your hand, and if you did, draw until you have 5 in your hand, okay? And then the second effect is switch one of your opponent's Pokemon with a V into their active. So it's like a boss's orders on a V only, or you can discard and draw. Really strong card. Speaking of boss's orders, we are playing 3 copies of that for the gusting effects. Since we're doing minimal damage and item locking, being able to gust as much as possible with a combination of the 4 of these feels really strong here. In also terms of item locking, Marnie's really good for hand disruption as well. So if you think that, like, you see them use like an ability, it's like, all right, I'll do this attack that lets me grab a supporter, or do this, it puts a supporter in my hand, or grab a stadium, or so on and so forth. We could just Marnie their hand at the bottom of the deck and disrupt it. And the most important supporter in this deck, there are 4 copies of Melanie. Attach a water energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon V if you do draw 3 cards. This will enable us to attack on the first turn going second with Vikavolt. If we can get a water energy into the discard pile and Melanie onto the Vikavolt, and then attach a lightning energy, we can Paralyzing Bolt super early on. And to get lightning Pokemon in play, we are playing a single trio stadium here of Stormy Mountains. So no split in this one. I was originally thinking about playing like Temple, but I think Stormy Mountain's just faster, just play multiple copies here. But once during either player's turn, you can search your deck for a basic Lightning or a basic Dragon and put it onto your bench. So this just grabs an extra Vikavolt, Raikou, Regieleki, and just slaps them down super fast. On to the items, we're rocking 3 copies of Quick Ball, discard a card from hand, find a basic Pokemon, put it into your hand. And we got 4 Ultra Ball here to discard 2 cards and then find any Pokemon. This will help us grab the VMAX as well. And of course, these will get water energy into the discard pile for Melanie to be able to accelerate energy onto our Pokemon. We are now playing 2 copies of Energy Search. So technically the base set ones have an errata, so you're allowed to play these as long as you play them properly as an item card. So keep that in mind. I'm rocking my OG fossil energy searches here. But as long as you just play it as the modern card, you're good to go on that one. All right, we've got 1 copy of Escape Rope for some pivots again. Regieleki and Starmie have free retreat cost. So, you can rope into them and then pivot back to whatever other attacker you need. We're playing 2 copies of Switch Cart. Switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage. Now, that active Pokemon has to be a basic. So, again, the power of the free pivots with the Regieleki and all that really does help. So, even though it has, no retreat cost, you can technically retreat it and then pivot into something else with the Switch Cart. For more mobility, we are playing another copy of Air Balloon here, just to reduce retreat by 2 and move around. That'll help the Crobat, Lumineon, Raikou a little bit. Vikavolt will reduce a little bit as well, and Drapion also has that thick retreat cost, so Air Balloon's going to help here. And another new super helpful card is the Forest Seal Stone. I only have 1 so far, but here we are. This thing is absolutely insane. It's a Pokemon tool card that you can attach to a Pokemon V. Technically, you can attach it to any Pokemon you want, but it gives you an access to a V-Star power here. The Pokemon V this card is attached to can use this V-Star power on this card, and it gives you the ability Star Alchemy. During your turn, you may search your deck for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So we don't have any V-Stars in this deck, so technically every Pokemon, if we can put this tool card onto it, becomes a V-Star, and we can search for any card we need when we need to. So think of it like a computer search. This card is absolutely insane. I can't wait to put this into Mew and just even crack some matchups in that favor a little bit sooner and faster. Absolutely insane. All right. So yeah, this can just set up so many combos. Like, oh crap, I need a water energy, I need a lightning energy, I need a Melanie, I need a Regieleki VMAX. This is literally just find anything you want, and it's absolutely insane. There's also an Earth one, which gives an attack instead of the ability, but we'll get to that into a different deck list eventually. Continuing on with the tool cards, we're playing 2 copies of Cape of Toughness, the Pokemon that is a basic, except the GX, which we have none. They're rotated out. gets 50 plus HP. So the whole point is to slap this onto your Vikavolt and make it 260 while you're item locking your opponent. Feels really strong. And the last item card in here is a single copy of Choice Belt as another damage modifier to help out Starmie, Raikou, Vikavolt, or Regieleki even get there to take the appropriate KOs. For the energy, we're playing 4 copies of Speed Lightning Energy. When you attach this to a lightning Pokemon, you get to draw 2 cards. Pretty straightforward. So this is the premier attachment onto Vikavolt. So we can attach Speed and then draw 2. Feels pretty good. We're then playing just 3 copies of Basic Lightning Energy. So that makes 7 Lightning Energy total. And we've got 6 copies of Basic Water to fulfill the costs and effects of Melanie and potentially Starmie and even Lumineon. There's been times where, you know, I've Aqua returned for a KO that I've whiffed on to get it out of the board. So it feels pretty good. But this is the adapted list. The early list I had was very different. A lot of different cards in stadium counts and Pokemon counts compared to what I'm rocking now, thanks to seeing the Japanese results adapt over the past week. I think this deck is super strong, especially going into the hype that, you know, Palkia and Lugia are still like tier 1, tier 1.5. And being able to hit for weakness and item lock is absolutely insane. It's really strong, honestly, to be able to item lock and hit for higher numbers. Against something that's, you know, weak to lightning. In order to hit the magical 280, the Vikavolt has a base damage of 50. You get 1 Regieleki in play, that's 80 damage. You get 1 more, that's 110. If you get the belt, that's 140 times 2 is 280. Or if you get all 3 Regieleki VMAXs in play, you don't need the belt necessarily. But you're able to find a way, and especially when you're item locking them, the pressure is on. It's not much they can do in general. But that'll do it for this one. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more. I know a lot of you guys are asking for certain decks and certain comments on certain videos, and we'll get to them as we can. I'm going to do a little bit more of early Silver Tempest coverage, and then we'll start doing a little bit of other stuff. And keep an eye out for a tournament series for TCGO announced on the podcast eventually soon. It might even be out by the time this video drops. I'm not quite sure. But keep an eye out for a tournament series where we're going to give away Silver Tempest codes over on Limitless. So yeah, that's it. See you later. Much love. Peace out.